I'm Eileen Nash. Join me every week as we meet interesting people who will teach you new, creative ways to manage stress and embrace vitality in your life. Grab a cup of tea and join me for this adventure. Get ready to move your body and your energy. Dominique Peters, sex and relationship coach, will instruct us on easily done tantric movements. Peter Kanyas, a practitioner of orthosomatics, will educate on the body movement methods he used to become pain-free and avoid major surgery. We're back and we're going to show you the movement and the breathing pieces and show you how easy it is. Mm-hmm. And Dominique is going to lead us in this training.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, I have a couple more things to teach you. So you asked about a little bit more about how to use the yoni egg. Mm-hmm. So what I'm about to teach you now would be a great time. If you have one, you can put it on pause and go get one and put it in. But this exercise is really great to help. Once again, you're strengthening your pelvic floor. Mm-hmm. You're strengthening your pelvic floor. And you're also creating flexibility. So ladies, this is known as a yoni egg. And so if you ever wanted to do this exercise with a yoni egg inside of you, you can. It just helps build your life force or your Shakti energy.
Okay, and they come in different sizes?
Yeah, this is made of obsidian. It comes in different sizes, and you would just squeeze these, and that's a whole nother episode, of course, about how exactly to use these. But you can find these in lots of different places like Good Vibrations in San Francisco or lots of different places online. You can go to my website. I have them there also.
Okay. And but someone wouldn't start with a little bitty one?
No. So those are more advanced. Actually, this is a medium, so because I wanted everybody to be able to see it. So they have the smaller ones are more advanced because you have to squeeze really hard. Yeah. So someone who has had a baby or just doesn't use their pelvic muscles very much would want to use a larger egg. So this is a medium-sized egg.
Okay. And I have another question. What about somebody who maybe doesn't have a partner?
You know what? You don't even need a partner to do these exercises. It's really yummy if you have a partner and you can build your pelvic floor up. And as you're having sex, like you could use the bliss breath, like the first one that I shared, mm-hmm. as you're making love. It actually is really relaxing. And as you inhale, you squeeze. And as you exhale, you release your pelvic floor. Once again, you're strengthening your pelvic floor. Mm-hmm. You're strengthening your pelvic floor. And you're also creating flexibility. So you can do this as a woman, and you can do this as a man. This is just really great overall. And Eileen and I were talking about earlier, by squeezing your pelvic floor, you're helping to prevent bladder issues that you may have, issues with incontinence. For those of you that don't know, there's more women in their 40s right now than there ever have been having issues with incontinence and sexual dysfunction. So
oh my gosh.
It's pretty intense. So these exercises really help. Not only are they relaxing and they get you juiced up, you might get a little bit hot, but you're helping yourself physically. And again, just be open to it. It may feel a little strange if you're new to it, but just do your best. Okay? So you're gonna go ahead and close your eyes. We're just gonna start with the bliss breath. Just put your hands at your side. So inhaling through your nose and exhale. And the next breath, inhale and squeeze your pelvic floor. And exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. And just keep going. So as you're squeezing in, imagine that energy going up to the top of your crown. And as you exhale, imagine it going down the back of your body. You can even, as you're inhaling, you can take your hands, both of your hands, and move your hands on your body as the breath goes up. So this is about moving your Shakti energy, it's called, or your life force energy around. So inhaling, squeezing your pelvic floor, moving that energy up your body, and then exhaling, having it go down the back of your body. So in Tantra, one of the ways that the energy moves is as you're squeezing your pelvic floor, it's going up the front of your body, and as you're exhaling, it's going down the back of your body. You can do this by yourself. You can do this while you're having sex with a partner, whether it's a man or a woman. Doesn't matter the combination, it works either way. Inhaling, exhaling, good. One more, nice and deep. Squeeze and exhale. Good, and you can open your eyes so you can see this next part. You can go ahead and put your hands on your hips for this one. And go ahead and you can have your eyes open so you can watch how to do this if you want to at first. So on an inhale, you're gonna tilt your pelvis forward, and then exhale, you're gonna push your pelvis back. So I'll show you on the side. So inhaling, moving your pelvis forward, and exhaling, moving your pelvis back. And you wanna make sure you have bent knees for this one so you don't get any knee injuries. So you might even wanna have your feet hips width apart, okay? All right, so you can have your hands on your hips. It just kind of helps with the accent, or down at your side. So you're inhaling, squeezing your pelvic floor. You can close your eyes, and exhaling, you're letting go and releasing back. Inhaling, moving your pelvis forward, flexing, and exhaling, releasing back. One more time, inhaling, squeezing forward, and exhaling, squeezing back. Go ahead and release your arms down at your side, come back to center. And for this one, I want you to try moving the energy forward, moving the energy up your body as you're squeezing forward, and as you're exhaling, move your hands back down. So it just helps, it kind of makes you feel juicy and sexy. I hope. It's just really more, it's actually almost better to just practice by yourself. And then if you do have a sexual partner, you can do these, and especially works for cowgirl position, so, or women on top. So there you go. All right, so go ahead and let's try this again. So we're gonna move as we inhale, moving our arms up, our body, whatever feels good, and exhaling, releasing back. If it feels weird or you can't move your arms up your body, you can just do what's called a featherlight touch, and just touch your skin as you inhale, just move it up your body, and as you're exhaling, just go ahead and move it down your arm, or maybe it's your face, whatever body part you want to touch. Not your genitals for this one. For this next one, we're going to be, as we squeeze forward, we're going to have your hands on your hips to start. So as you squeeze forward, we'll just say go ahead and move to the right, and then you're exhaling and you're releasing back. So I'll just show you from the side. So you're inhaling, squeezing forward, and exhaling, releasing back.
So you're making a circle?
You are making a circle,
Okay.
That's right. It's called a hip circle. For those of you that have done belly dancing or samba, and if you can't really, if you don't have much hip movement, again, just moving just a little bit, just little tiny circles. It's all about the intention. Well, let's go to the left. So go ahead and squeeze, moving your hips in a circle forward, and exhale, releasing back. Again. Inhale, squeezing forward, and exhale, releasing back. Go ahead and do a couple more. Inhale, squeezing forward, exhale, releasing back. And go ahead and have your arms at your side, and then move them up your body. Good, and then release back. Inhale, squeezing forward, and exhale, releasing back. And that's also called O Yoga. It was a technique developed by Sam Isadora.
That's great.
Yes, it's very simple, very yummy, and there's lots more to it. And I also teach a couple more techniques with that as well.
That was great. And pretty much if
I get
can
so
do
hot.
it, if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm the person who practices for Carnival for months, and I still mess up when it comes to the date, you know.
And that's also a thing I almost forgot to say. So if you're a woman and you've had a hysterectomy, and you don't have all your parts at this time, it's all about the intention. The energy is still there. You just squeeze whatever's there.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Dominique.
It's my pleasure.
It was great.
Hi, today we're here with Peter Cañas in San Francisco, and he's going to be talking to us about orthosomatics, which is natural body movements that you can do at home to promote your health. I think it's really important to consider and make a part of your life taking care of your physical aspects. In the show, we are often exploring the spiritual and the emotional and, and the intellectual, but we always want to remember that you're connected to your body, and that's how you're going to go forth in the world. So Peter has been a body worker since 1996, and then he has had his own private practice, and then he has also studied at the Institute for
Somatic Research and Training.
Great.
In Novato, California.
And I met him I had a very powerful experiencing a massage with him. And when I got up, I said, he has such a litheness in his step. And he said, I don't even get a massage anymore because I do this routines. And so that is why we're here today. And I want Peter to give us some background about how you came to be involved with orthosomatics.
Okay. First, great to be here with you, Eileen, and see you again. I'm so happy it worked out well for you in that session. Back in 1998, I took a course in orthopedic massage and manual therapy, the Hendrickson method, which was very powerful. And then in 2003, a friend of mine, colleague, had a bulging disc pressure onto his nerve root and had sciatica down his leg. He was in bad shape. Young guy, 31 years old. And his mother gave him this book called Somatics by Thomas Hanna. And he read the book, and in the back of the book were movements. And he did the movements every day. And after 6 weeks, he said to me, Pete, my back is totally healed. I said, oh, that's great. And he said, yeah, and it's even better than it's ever been. So I thought, well, I got to read the book. So I read the book, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is what I need for my clients. Something that they can take home with them after the treatment table and to continue improving, continue the healing, but also have something, tools for themselves, so that when something comes up, when they pull a muscle or their hip joint or they get a frozen shoulder, they'll have something to do. They can help self-monitor themselves, connect to their bodies better, and also self-heal and self-correct. So that's how that kind of started, and I went to the institute. There is an institute in Novato, California that teaches people how to be practitioners of Hanna Somatics, and during that 3-year study, I happened to heal a serious problem that I had. I had 2 hips that orthopedists said you'll just have to have hip replacements. They are just so arthritic and so frozen. And my father had the same thing with his 2 hips. My brother just had a hip replacement. And while I was there in class, learning all of this, the first year I thought, oh, this isn't going to help me because I'm too far gone. But I have this, I can help my clients. But the second year, my instructor said, no, you got to give this a good try. So I did. So I did it every day. And after 4 months, the pain went away in my hips. They opened up, and that was 12 years ago, and I don't even need a massage anymore. I don't have any problems at all with my hips. My trick knee I had for 35 years from football injury, that healed as well. And so that's how I kind of got started on orthosomatics.
So when people start to do a program like this, how do you, and you start to feel better after a while, do you have any tips on sticking with it?
A couple things that make it helpful is that the movements are slow and gentle. So they're very easy to do. There's no stretching involved, so it's not uncomfortable. It's not a strengthening exercise, so you don't strain yourself. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's maybe 15 minutes a day. And it's inexpensive because you just need yourself. You don't need any equipment. You could do this standing up, you could do sitting down, you could do laying down.
Yes.
So those make it pretty easy to incorporate it into your daily life.
And today I wanted to ask you a few questions about somatics. So how do they work and what are the principles behind them?
Ah, great. So when things are working well in the body, this is what's going on neuromuscularly. Let's say my biceps is really tight. It'll send a message up the central nervous system to my sensory motor cortex saying I'm tight. And the sensory motor cortex will send down an inhibitory neuron. The muscle releases, it relaxes. So we don't pull a muscle and die in the wild. This is Mother Nature's way to protect us. All the animals in the wild, as we notice, it looks like when they wake up in the morning, they're doing a stretch. The lioness gets up. But what she's really doing is a slow, voluntary contraction and a slow, voluntary release. What that's doing is waking up the sensory motor cortex. This is a part of the brain that does slow movements, and it releases the muscles and does proper firing of the muscles as well. So that if we're out in any time that we do get a little tight muscle, the sensory motor cortex will take care of it. It never becomes a problem. We don't even have to do anything. It just automatically does it for us. Now, fast forward to now into the future. Well, of course, back when we were probably in the wild, hunter-gatherers, we were probably doing those movements too, because it works for us exactly as it works for the animals, because we have the same central nervous system. Mm-hmm. But because we're not doing the slow movements, eventually because of stress reflexes, maybe injuries, surgeries, repetitive movements,
working on the computer,
our muscles will get habitually tight. When that happens, then the normal connection to here is completely severed, and the lower brain stem, the fight or flight part of the brain, the survival brain, takes over control of the muscles. And when it senses a muscle is tight, it thinks two things. It thinks, oh, you're getting ready to fight, or you're getting ready to run. So it keeps you on alert. It doesn't want to relax you and bliss you out, because you may get blindsided by some predator. Mm-hmm. So the muscles will stay tight. Maybe they go get a massage, and maybe they get loosened up, but because we're not doing the slow movements, they're going to get tight again, and then you're going to have the chronic problems as well. So with somatics, the gentle, slow movements keep the communication strong between the sensory motor cortex and the muscles, so there's never a problem.
You would suggest that a person just dedicate a few minutes every day to doing these movements, yes, based from the animal world.
Right. The daily routine takes about 15 minutes. There's 8 specific movements, but it covers the entire body. Mm-hmm. And so you do them very slowly, very gently. So they're not stretching, so it's not uncomfortable, right? It's not strengthening exercises, mm-hmm, so you don't get, it's not uncomfortable. So it's very easy to do for all ages. In fact, it's funny that I think my eldest clients enjoy the somatic movements the most, because what's happening is they're reconnecting with their body. And they're able, my God, they're able to get this voluntary movement of their muscles. They're reconnecting and feeling it, feeling the muscles for the first time. I remember before somatics walking down the street one day going, I don't know what's going on below my neck. Feels like one big blob, And then why are my shoulders up to my ear? It's not going to help me get to my car any faster, right?
I started doing some of the routines, something called the cat stretch, which is on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take very long.
No, it doesn't. A good 15 minutes. You could really do it, if you didn't have much time, you could do the whole series in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I've done it in 5 minutes. And there's 8 specific exercises for the daily movements. So with somatics, it does 2 wonderful things. It releases the tight muscles, but it also strengthens the weak muscle, so you get nice balance. Then all of a sudden your posture just falls into normal position, mm-hmm, and there's no friction on the joints.
In many people's daily lives, if you don't have a job where you're moving around, many of us are sitting in a chair, possibly not in an ergonomic situation. Yeah. So here you've got this locked in 8 hours on the computer, reaching forward, reaching for the phone, and just sitting. What kind of movements would you suggest for these 2 exact?
Okay, so this is a really very, very effective one. It's simple. You can do sitting at your desk. What you do is you internally rotate your arms, bring your shoulders forward, tighten your stomach, and hollow out your back. So now everything in the front is contracting and moving forward. Then you reverse everything, externally rotate, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. And you hold for about 3 seconds on each end, and you slowly go back and forth. So interesting, paradoxically, to release a muscle, we need to contract it first. I know it sounds contra, but you have to do it. And then that helps relax it, so then you can stretch. Now we're stretching the pectoralis muscles, we're lengthening it, and now we're tightening the muscles in the mid-back, and that's helping release those, but it's also strengthening them. Now you slowly come back again. So it's back and forth slowly. You're releasing the pectoralis muscles in the front, which is helping to strengthen the muscles in the back.
And how does the breath, what's the best way to do
Okay,
this with breathing?
right. As we close in, like this, we exhale, emptying out the air. And then as we do our extension back this way, we're inhaling.
That's great.
Yes. Part of somatics is we
Easy.
deal with reflexes. There's the red light reflex. The red light reflex is, this is the protection, the apprehension and worry. So the red light is closing in and protecting. That's what we do, you know, when we're in fear. And then, so we work at releasing all of this. Then there's the green light reflex, and we extend everything back, and that's for when you want to go forward in the world, when you have to do effort. It contracts all the back muscles. Then we work on the trauma reflex. When you see people, a lot of times they're tilted to the side, they're experiencing a lot of trauma. And we work at releasing that side. And then there's the dark vice for older people that happens, unfortunately, where they have co-contraction. Their front is super contracted and their back is super contracted, so they can't move anywhere. They are just stuck in that position. But it's all reversible. Even if you're an elderly person, 85, 90 years old, these are reversible. Somatics works no matter how long you have had this problem.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
This is just the kind of thing, we just did it. And you can follow along. We're going to get to the table and show you some more moves.
So Eileen and I are here to work together in releasing her piriformis muscle. This is a muscle deep in the gluteal area, and right under the piriformis muscle is the sciatic nerve. And when this piriformis muscle gets tight, it drops down right on that nerve and can cause the pain down the leg, and what she's experiencing now, down the back of the leg, and also in the gluteal area, right kind of in the center. And that's kind of where the piriformis muscle is. So it seems any muscle in the body that starts with a P is going to be a tight muscle for whatever reason. It just so happens that there's muscles in the body that tend to go tight and muscles in the body that tend to go weak, and this muscle tends to go tight. So because the muscle drops downward, part of what I do in my manual work is to realign the fiber, to move that piriformis muscle back up into its normal position. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. So that's part of the manual part. Now the somatic part is going to be to release that muscle neurologically. So Eileen, your first movement is to slowly raise your right leg up in the air. That's right. Now hold it right there. So now she's working her piriformis muscle. The piriformis muscle is an external rotator of the hip, and that's what she's doing. Slowly go down. Now the reason why we're doing that is because she's going slow, her sensory motor cortex now is working. It's waking up. It's waking up, and now it has connected to that muscle. That's what we want. We want to have the communication strong between the two, opening up the communication once again. Again, slowly raise that, and as you do, Eileen, sense the muscle contracting. Go on and raise that up. Feel that muscle contracting in there. It's important to have the awareness of what's happening. Sense what's happening. Slowly release. And you have to come very slow on the way back down. That's where the brain really has to lock in and connect. Good. And now come up again. It's good to do this about at least 3 to 5 times. Hold there. And now slowly, slowly, slowly come down. And now squeeze your knees together. We're using the opposite muscle here. It helps to reset the new length that she's gained. And now slowly release. Great. So the reason why it's important to bring awareness and to sense what's happening while you're doing the contraction is that the more we're aware of what's happening in our body, the more control we have over the muscle. And the more control we have over the muscle, the more that muscle will release. Great. So this is kind of softening up already. Most of the sciatica symptoms come from the piriformis muscle. True sciatica will come from the back, from the nerve being pinched there. But the most of the time, I think 90% of the time, it's coming from the piriformis muscle. It's a big deal kind of muscle. Oh, if you're having hip joint trouble, since we're here, another important muscle, in fact, we talked about this one earlier. This is the gluteus medius, the most commonly tweaked muscle in the gluteal area. So hold your foot up. Now she's using it. This muscle is brings the leg away. They call it an abductor. Ab, like abducting it, taking the leg away from the middle and slowly come down from the middle. Great. Nice. And then slowly come up again. This muscle tends to go weak on us, so it's good to do these because it'll strengthen it.
It's easy too.
Yeah, and easy to do, slow. And it's really good for the hip joint. If you have hip joint pain, this is a muscle that causes a lot of the trouble in the hip joint pain. And up again. Good. And you hold for like 2 or 3 seconds. And then you come down slow. Now when you're coming down slow, the brain has to do 2 things. It has to still contract so it doesn't fall straight down, but it has to go letting up just enough so it goes down smoothly. So the brain has to really focus even harder, and so that makes the connection stronger. So it's very important on the way back to go even slower. One more time up. And this is it. This is all the speed you have to do it. Slowly down. And now again at the end, you do the opposite muscles. This time press down. Because you went up, now you're going to press down. And relax. And bring the knee back up onto the pillow. Great.
So Peter, that was really easy. And I feel a difference already. So what we want to do today is to empower you to give these movements a try. And you'll reap the results. Next week, my special guest is the sparkling personality, Elizabeth Gibbons. Elizabeth is an extraordinary artist who uses the art of embellishment using glitter, glass, and beads to transform her paintings. She has special insights everyone needs.